Hello YouTube, DJ Neoncat here, and last night I showed off an unfinished replica of Green Hill Zone's theme from Sonic the Hedgehog. Why am I doing a replica? Because my previous remix was a dud. Some people liked it, while others sorta disliked it. So today, with the help of FL Studio 20's VSTs, Foobar 2000 and its VGM support, and FL Studio Mobile 4, let's get into the video. Alright, so first what you would need to do is buy FL Studio 20 off the official ImageLine website. Here's a little disclaimer before we start. Your actions have consequences on the internet. If you choose to pirate FL Studio 20, there are consequences. So please do this at your own risk. Your best bet is to legitimately buy the FL Studio, whatever version you prefer. I'd go with the $99 version since it's the best and cheapest way to go. Now the second step is to download this one VST. The VST plugin in question is called Jenny. It's a Sega Genesis / Mega Drive music plugin, and it emulates nearly every single instrument from any Genesis and Mega Drive video game that's out there. It also comes with various presets at its disposal, so use them to your very advantage. I almost forgot to mention this little detail in FL Studio 20. Once you open up FL Studio 20, go to the top left taskbar to add, hit channel and go to more plugins. Once you're in that, go to the bottom center and hit the button manage plugins. And then it'll show you a list of plugins. Most of them might not be loaded in properly, so you would want to hit find more plugins, and it'll actually refresh an entire list of plugins from their default to the installed ones that you found off the internet. Now for the part to replicate Green Hill Zone, the instruments. Once Jenny is installed on your laptop, go to VGMRips.com and search in the search bar Sonic the Hedgehog. Download greenhillzone.vgm. Once done, go into FL Studio 20 and open Jenny. And in the instruments section, go to import. Select import bank and select the VGM file you obtained from VGMRips. Remember, Jenny is a Genesis plugin, so it only takes Genesis VGM files. Once you imported the VGM, some instruments will pop up in the presets tab. And here's a fun fact. Since I already did this, Green Hill Zone in question, the instruments are a total of 8, plus the drums, which count as a total of 9. Once importing your VGM, you'll see the song name plus the number after it. That's the instrument from the said song. So once you selected Green Hill Zone and imported the bank into the instrument area, you'll see Green Hill Zone 0, Green Hill Zone 1, and so forth. Now to actually making the song. If you're a laptop user, a Windows, MacBook, Chromebook user, you could still make the song, but the tutorial itself is made specifically for FL Studio Mobile users. I'm sorry GarageBand users if I left you out in the dust, but this is actually supposed to be for FL Studio Mobile 4 users. So if you have FL Studio Mobile on your iPhone, go ahead and still stick around. I can still teach you how to make Green Hill Zone on your iOS or Android device. Now after exporting the instruments from Jenny, what you would want to do is go to your channel rack in FL Studio 20 and select Create Direct Wave Instrument. Direct Wave is actually a supported instrument bank for FL Studio Mobile. Once you hit Save Direct Wave Instrument, make sure to save it in your desktop area and create a folder called FL Studio Mobile Instruments to make sure that's a reference. Once you do that, hit Save, and then it's going to say Rendering Jenny FL at the very top left of the window. Select how many seconds you want the instrument sample to be selected, hit Start or Background Rendering, and once it renders, it's going to open Direct Wave. Make sure to tweak and modify the sound's volume because it's going to be obnoxious once you try to create an instrument. After you do that, hit the folder icon at the top left of the Direct Wave window, and it gives off an option to let you save to FL Studio Mobile. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that same folder that you've made, make sure to replace that Direct Wave option and it'll save as FL Studio Mobile Instrument or DWP, Direct Wave Piano. I do have a side note for certain instruments in FL Studio Mobile that you've exported from Jenny. Certain instruments might sound off, clicky, or too broken to be used. So make sure to like tweak every instrument equally. Otherwise, they'll sound very broken. Like for example, the brass instrument from Green Hill Zone sounds normal in Jenny, but if you were to use it in FL Studio Mobile, it's going to sound broken. So keep that in mind. Also, I almost forgot to mention, say if you only have a mobile device and you don't have FL Studio 20 or a MacBook or a Windows 11, I got you covered. Now, I've extracted nearly every instrument that I've gotten so far, so you don't have to. Make sure that you have a 64 gigabyte or 128 gigabyte device, an Android or an iPhone, whatever. And make sure to click the Telegram link down below so every instrument that you want, I can send to you for free. They're gonna be in a zip archive, so make sure to follow these instructions carefully. And now we move forward to our next step, putting the instruments in FL Studio Mobile 4. Now after downloading the instruments from your PC or from the Telegram link I've sent earlier, you are gonna have to extract all of those instruments into a folder. But where is the folder located? Now for Android users, it's going to be in the Android folder. You can't access this with your normal phone. If you can, you're probably one of the lucky people. But specifically for the newer Samsung users, that Android folder is going to be blocked. So what you're going to have to do is download ZArchiver from the App Store. And once you do that, go to Android, Data, find the folder that says com.imageline.flm, go to Files, and find the folder that says My Instruments. Once you have all of your instruments decompressed, put those instruments there. And now you're done. All of your instruments are inside your FL Studio Mobile, and now you're ready to make Green Hill Zone. But wait, hold on. You're missing one huge detail. Where the heck are the drums? And we're gonna get to that shortly. But first, here's a little known fun fact. The snare drum in Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 is based off the Roland TR-626 kit. Not a lot of people know what this kit is, but the drum, the snare itself, is too noticeable. And we're gonna get into that as soon as we download our drums. Now, whatever drums that you have on your phone or wherever in the FL Studio folder, you can either use the default samples or download some that you feel comfortable with. The snare drum, I will link to you in the Telegram link below in the YouTube description. Now, if you also have not only just your phone, but your laptop too, go to your laptop or desktop and download Foobar 2000. It's a free software to listen to your VGM files. And the same VGM file that I told you to download a few moments ago was Green Hill Zone. This is where Foobar 2000 becomes useful. Make sure to download the Game Emu Player, or known into Foobar 2000's app, the GEP control. What that does is that, say if you have a VGM, which is either a Sega VGM, a Capcom VGM, or a Super Nintendo VGM, that basically deconstructs every instrument. For example, every Sonic or Sega Genesis song comes up to a total of 12 instruments being played. So you have your 3 square samples, your hi-hat samples, which is the noise samples. Then you have like 5 or 6 different instruments. And then the last is the DAC, the drums. So basically going through those, you could use those as references to play around and edit in FL Studio Mobile. So once you've like exported every single sample separately, make sure to set it inside of a folder as Green Hill Zone samples, and then move that to your FL Studio Mobile My Samples folder. And to save you the time of like what tempo or what speed is Green Hill Zone, some Sonic fans might know this, others might not, but I'm gonna just tell you anyways. The BPM for Green Hill Zone is 150.0 beats per minute. Now that you know that the song is at that tempo, you wouldn't have to have no worries on how you messed up every sample or every instrument, because like when I first tried to make Green Hill Zone, it was pretty hard for me to get the tempo down right until it took me a few attempts and listening to the song in my song player on my phone to actually get the BPM right. Okay, now here's the music introduction or music production part that you have to do. Every sample that you've exported from Foobar 2000, you want to figure out which instrument you want to do first. Do you want to do the squares? Do you want to do the basses? Do you want to do the brass instruments? It's going to be a very confusing progress. So just choose which instrument you want to pick out and choose which suits your, taste, Because when I first did it, I always wanted to do the bass line first, which was the hardest part. Well, not the hardest, but it was simplistic enough to the point where it felt repetitive and I could get to the flow of the speed of the song. The only other stuff that I did secondly was the brass, the square instruments and stuff. Like Green Hill Zone's song in question is not difficult, but it's not easy. So you gotta figure out which instrument you want to do first and then work your way up to the next. Because this tutorial is going to be a wild ride, or this song is going to be a wild ride, because everything in the samples alone is compiled differently. Like the Sega Genesis's sound chip was designed so well that they had to compress some instruments differently. They didn't have extra sound channels to work with. So some samples you might hear bass, next you might hear piano. So bear with me on this one. Okay, I've talked way too much in this tutorial, so I might as well just show you which instruments play what. And to make sure you don't get sidetracked, I will go through every instrument respectfully. I'm gonna hit solo on this one, which is the xylophone from the start of Green Hill Zone, and I'm gonna just hit play. Now you see they look fast and they moved up some. So let me just zoom in real quick. And you see that the notes are played on the F and A scales, working their way up some more as the final scale goes from a B to an E. So to cut you the time short, let me just turn the BPM down to 120. Make it feel more slowish or sluggish. Let's just play it. Then let's get out of this, because that's the only instrument that plays during the beginning. The rest of them, I'm gonna just go to here and put it in a small piano view to show you. Oops, let me move this to the left. All right, let me show you the instruments that's played on this piano. Mind you, there's 2 different piano samples. So here's the main melody, or actually, yeah, the main melody. I'm gonna just call it that. And here's what it sounds like at its normal beats per minute. Also, I'm not going to go through every single instrument or everything in detail, but I will show you some key elements that are played. So as you see, I have the main bass from Green Hill Zone, and then I have the extra bass laying down here. That's because this bass down here uses the Emerald Hill Zone bass. which actually started off as Green Hill Zone's main base, but you get the picture. So let me just go back to the let me just go back to the main base. This phone is just weird. So this is what the main base sounds like at its normal tempo. And to give you a reference, let me just play the hi-hats and drums. So let me just put this in a very short recap as fast as possible. You have your xylophone, which starts at the very beginning of Green Hill and only starts and never adds itself back in. Then you have your little two pianos right here. Your square instruments. The main melody, which is actually the strings. And even though I've made a recreation of Green Hill Zone, I kind of vandalized it in a way. Yeah, I'm gonna just call this vandalism right here because I added my own chord or melody into this. And altogether, it sounds exactly like this. So yeah, there you have it. That's my entire Green Hill Zone recreation in FL Studio Mobile plus a tutorial. Now, will I ever do more tutorials like this in the future? Probably, but don't count on it. As you heard in most of my audios, like you hear in me now, I stutter terribly. So please forgive me on this. So that's the entire recreation of Green Hill Zone. If you like it, hit the like button. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. And also, most of the samples I will give out in the description below followed with the song download link. So with that out of the way, this is DJ Neon Cat signing out, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace.